Do you mind helping me with this? So I have a very supportive circle outside the home because, like I said, I live by myself.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
also, I do agree. Jazz, you are really good at delegating and managing. Thank you for joining us, Joy. The question we just asked was, tell us a little bit about yourself and how um, your work life and your company. How do you manage your mental health and work life balance? Your Hey.
I'm Joy. Um, and I'm a makeup artist, and I own a skincare company called Smooth. And you said, how do we balance our work life? Yeah, I haven't mastered that yet. So I'm just winging it. I go to work, I do makeup, then go back to work, then pack orders. I really don't have a concrete answer. I literally just wing it. I know when it's time for me to take a break, I take a break. When it's time for me to go to work, I go to work. So yeah.
Oh, I'm not
Okay.
sorry. Well, that's
Um,
great. At least you're aware of um your areas of weakness, so at least you can take a break whenever you do need that break.
Yeah, if I don't do
so
anything, I'm gonna make sure that I take a break so that I can keep multitasking and handling everything at the same time. I'm gonna take a break. That's one thing I have managed to take a break, reset, and get your life together, and then come back and approach the same situations with a different mindset.
so that's a good point, right? One of the biggest things that a lot of us struggle with is work-life balance, right? When you wear multiple hats, um, it becomes a challenge to really like make sure all the parts of you are getting the right level of attention to care for yourselves. And how are you all in Joy? Excuse me, Joy. You just mentioned learning to know when to take time out for yourself to just give yourself a little bit more time to breathe. Have this always been the way for you? And then I'd like everybody else to kind of chime in as to how do you manage your work-life balance?
It's always been that way for me. I've tried planners, I've tried calendars. It don't work. I just know, oh, if I'm getting too stressed out, I'm gonna take me a break. If I feel like I've taken too long of a break, okay, I'm gonna get up and go do some more work because I feel like I'm that at that point I'm not being as productive as I could be. So I have it kind of figured out, but it's just an internal. Now it's time for a break. Now it's time for me to go back to work. Now it's time for me to do something creative so that I can stay creative and bring new ideas to my business or brand, or just relax and chill out and watch some TV.
Nice.
So I love that we're actually talking about work-life balance because this has been like a hot topic in a few different webinars and panels that I've attended recently. And I was on an industry one last week, and there was a guy who was older, um, and he's been in the industry for a while. And he was at the gate, like he dropped a hot one. He was like, I just want to say that millennials came up with work-life balance. This wasn't a thing before now. And all the millennials were in the chat like, what? Well, that's why y'all burnt out now. Like, why were y'all not doing this before? So I don't know. Like, I was born in '88. I am full-fledged millennial, and I I don't. I mean, I appreciate that about our generation. Like, if we're not happy, like if something isn't life-giving for us, we're not afraid to move. Like, we're not afraid to leave situations or leave jobs or leave whatever and move. Um, and that's something that like I appreciate. I learned from my dad. He was like, look, find joy, the money will come. Like, the money will come. Do what you love and the money will come. um but as far as like planning it all, I'm the opposite of Joy. I live by my calendar. Like, outside of emergencies and stuff, I'm pretty strict to my calendar. So whether it be my digital planner, whether it be my GCal, or my Outlook calendar for work, it's pretty, I will start penciling people in. If somebody has an idea of locking something in with me, I'll pencil them in just to make sure I have that time blocked out, because I want to make sure that I'm giving them my undivided attention as much as I can during that time, unless something pops off. And then with that, like I said, I also try to make sure I'm scheduling some form of self-care a couple times a week to make sure that I'm not pushing myself to that point of breaking. So in the evenings, like I said, in the evenings, it's being in bed by 9:30. It's blocking off my Sundays. I've scheduled a massage for next week. So it's stuff like that. Like I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, so I'm not pushing myself to burnout.
Okay.
And for me, it's something that I'm still working on, but I'm kind of a mixture of both because I have my planner and I use my planner, but it's not the end all be all. So I don't write down everything, but then it kind of goes against me because if I don't write it down, sometimes I forget. And so my husband and I, we have a calendar on our phone. We like have a shared Gmail account, and he puts things in the calendars, and that helps me out as far as family things. Like if he has a photo shoot, or we have to do this, so that I won't forget, because I always have my phone in my hand. But at work, I do live and die by my paper planner. But and I agree with Jazz that if it doesn't bring me joy, I lose interest. And so being an entrepreneur, I own a children's infant and toddler clothing boutique. So of course that I can balance that with my family, because who are my models? My kids. So I'm spending time with them. My little girl, my 2-year-old, she loves when I bring home a box. She's like, my clothes. So she's ready to model. So I'm working, but at the same time, I'm spending time with them. And that's been very helpful. And then sometimes I feel like my 13-year-old daughter, she's often left out. So I have a website. I have an online presence. I just started her own collection. So now we've added Taylor's trinkets. She didn't want to do clothes. She didn't want to do this. So she has accessories like bracelets and earrings. And her big seller now are like the Croc charms. And she loves her Crocs. So when I do vendor events, I take my 13-year-old along with me. She's getting a little bit of the entrepreneur experience, but then she loves that time with me, that alone time with me. She doesn't have to share me with her little brothers and her little sisters. So I think that's a good work-life balance for me, because I'm working, but at the same time, I am spending time with my family.
That's dope. That's dope. I mean, I want a clothing line. Can I get some hats or headbands or some
You
lock
can start a
socks?
collection
You
now.
know what I'm saying? Let's make it work. Don't threaten me with a collaboration. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you guys explaining that. Part of the reason I asked that is that in balancing your life, your personal and your endeavors, one of the things that is really important is trying to find a way to maintain your peace, right? Especially when you're an entrepreneur, right? One of the things that threatens our peace is the fact that you find people projecting their ideas, their insecurities onto you. Well, you're a woman, how are you able to do this? Or you're a mom, when do you have time to succeed? How do you guys deal with not allowing others to project their insecurities upon you, and kind of like rising above being petty, so to speak, right? The easiest clap back is success, right? But outside of you showing them your success, how are you guys able to stop others from projecting upon you? Anybody can jump on and answer that.
That's a good question. So in my industry, one, it's still fairly male dominated, which is weird because there are so many phenomenal women that I've worked with and that I currently work with and that I've worked with previously. But it's definitely still male dominated, and it's definitely still older men. So anytime anytime I assert any authority at work, I have to, I guess imposter syndrome kind of kicks in too, because I'm like, I mean, I'm still, I don't have the full power of having a title of VP behind my name currently, but then I'll have to remember that, but my VP backs me up, my PM backs me up, like I have that. But there have definitely been times where people are like, who are you? You don't know it, like you didn't study this, because I didn't. Like I fell into my industry. I studied criminal justice. I totally fell into my industry. But yeah, I didn't study it. I haven't been in it that long, but I was raised to have a very strong voice and to be very sure of myself. And I feel like that's translated into different arenas of my life. So that's helped for that. So it's one of those, say what you mean what you say. And if somebody bucks back on you, so like you said, sometimes the best clap back is success. Sometimes you need to be petty. Like sometimes you need to let them know, hey, so you thought, or what you're not gonna do is this. And recently, for real, like, and I'm professional. I'm very professional, but I email like I talk, and I make sure that people know I treat everybody the same way, but I try not to code switch at work. So the way I'm talking to y'all is how I talk at work. And so if I hear somebody, hey, da, 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 nah, so we're not gonna do that. Or if I'm giving an affirmation, bet, all right, boom. So they know, hey, you're still getting me, you're getting Jazz, you're getting this Black millennial who is phenomenal in all aspects, but I'm not gonna code switch with you. And sometimes that means I need to be petty, professionally petty at work. But in other avenues, sometimes you need to go gutter. You don't need to go high. I understand that Forever Floatus said, when they go low, we go high. Sometimes you need to go gutter and let people know I wasn't right. Boo, you forget. I can pop off with the best one.
That's my type of getting on right there.
Right.
Okay. I mean, anybody else want to chime in on that?
And being in education, it's male dominated as far as administration. So for the longest, I was a teacher, then I became a counselor, and my husband, my uncle, my brother, everyone pushed me, leadership. That's where the money is. But I don't chase the money. So I went to school, got my degree in leadership, but I haven't really pushed for getting a job as a principal or AP or anything like that, because I'm waiting on God's time. But at the same time, I do deal with, imposter syndrome. Like I can't be a principal. I can't do this. I'm too nice. I'm too this and too that. And so I have begun to assert myself more in situations where some of my coworkers look at me like, did you just say that? Or did you just say that? Like, not Shaquita, not little Miss Nice counselor lady. But it's a process, because I have to start believing in myself. I remember when I started my grad program, my brother was like, no, I was like, sink or swim. He's like, no, swim or swim. I was like, oh, yes, swim or swim. So I applied for my first leadership position, and I didn't get chosen for the job, but then I knew that the guy that was interviewing me, he gave me some tips. He was like, start this way, go this way. Sometimes you may have to leave your own school district to get some experience to come back. Sometimes you may have to go to the elementary school even though you have a background in secondary and high school. So it always goes back to swim or swim. And sometimes you just have to push yourself through the adversity. And I'm slowly learning to do that.
Okay. Ms. Joy, you were sipping on that tea there. So tell us about your little clap. I mean, so in your profession, your clap back is really your customers or your clients, right? And you can't clap back at your clients for too often excuse me. So let's go ahead. Let's hear this clap back. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna clap back, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
That's really it. You could be extremely ghetto petty and still be professional. It's just how you say it. It's not necessarily what you say. So I'm really good at reiterating and reinforcing my policies and procedures that were made known to you before you contacted me. So there's no need for me to have to clap back unless you're not doing your due diligence and doing the smallest thing like reading. So I don't know if that makes sense. Like I don't
Come
really
on, verbiage. Come on, verbiage.
Speak it, speak it, speak it.
but I don't really have to. It's just how you say it. I can say, I hate you, or I hate you, and you'll take the second I hate you better than the first one. It's just really all how you clap back. It's just what you say. It's how you say it, not necessarily what you say. So that's how I handle, my stuff over here.
So Jazz, you mentioned something earlier, code switching, right? And I feel like I'm probably not the right person in the room to I would love to this be a whole woman's conversation, but code switching, right? Something that we as colored folk have to do pretty frequent. And even in that, like you said earlier, even in your email, sometimes we gotta, as per our conversation, such and such and such and such. How do you deal with it, or what's your response when people ask you or are surprised when you say you don't have to code switch at work, right? Or code switch because we're taught you got to sound a certain way, you got to present yourself a certain way, and as women, it's almost you have to code switch to come off softer, and to not come off as the angry woman, or in some cases the angry Black woman in the room, especially at the executive levels or management levels. And then Shaquita, I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. You have to deal with it as well, right? Because you're dealing with vendors, you're dealing with buyers, and unless you're plastered all over your site, people may not automatically know who you are and where you come from. So how do you guys deal with dealing or not having to deal with code switching and the proverbial as per conversation type of emails that you guys may or may not have to deal with?
Well, I can start. I went to my first market event last year. Yeah, because it was during COVID. And it was, I don't know. And I can code switch, but I'm gonna be myself always. And so I dealt with people not even looking at me. You know how you at market, if you don't know, you at market, you have the different vendors set up, and you go and you talk to them and you get their website, get their catalog. You may want to place the order then or what. I had vendors that did not even look my way. I had vendors that said that I don't think I'm in your price point. And I can't afford this because I'm, so I know what I don't even need to expel this energy on you. So I just, what, I don't need that in my life. I can find another vendor. This not even, my people don't even like that anyway, And so I went to who accepted me as me. So, and I found some pretty dope vendors and sold a lot of clothes from that market, but it's uncomfortable, but you have to learn to be yourself and be strong. And so at school, I'm in a predominantly Black school with mostly white staff. So I don't have to code switch because I'm about the only one in the office that can calm this kid down, because I'm going to take him in the room and be like, now, you shouldn't have did that, So I see it a lot with my daughter because she's in a predominantly white school, and I see her turn it on and off. And sometimes it's to her advantage, but I still want her to be herself. So I push HBCUs on her. We watched all of this. We watch all that. I'm like, okay, your friends are this color, you're this color, but you be proud to be who you are. And so with the past election season, she learned to deal with that because she had to deal with kids wearing their Make America Great shirts and hats and everything, and people on the team. And she led those discussions in the locker room for basketball team. And she told me, well, they said this, and I was like, well, Taylor, you can't say this. She's like, no, I didn't say that, but we both had our points, and just because they support this don't mean they're right. Him don't mean they're racist. So code switching, I've saw her use it to her advantage, and I can use it to my advantage, but at the same time, I'm myself. I've had my locks for a year. Before I had my locks, I had my hair perm. Then I went through the natural stage. I went through the wigs. I like my principal knows they don't. I may have a new hairstyle Monday when I walk in, but I'm comfortable in my locks. And when I was talking to my coworkers about growing my locks, one lady said, "Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I like your hair straight." Baby, I locked it up the next week because I'm gonna be myself and I'm gonna be who I am, and I'm confident in myself. So it can work to your advantage, but I in my line of work, I don't do it.
So I love that you brought up that it can work to your advantage because, like your daughter, when I was younger, I definitely did it. Like I can put on a sorority voice. I was in a sorority, and it was not a divine nine, so I definitely know how to use a sorority voice. Um, but as I've gotten older, I realize I need to be myself. Like I'm more comfortable being myself, and I'm doing a disservice to myself by putting on a facade just to appease people or think that I'm appeasing people. And I love that you brought up, Paige, you brought up um, like the angry black woman or just the angry woman trope. I saw this tweet this morning and it says, is she being rude or have you been socially conditioned into believing that women should be warm, positive, and friendly at all times and are uncomfortable when they don't adhere to that behavior? And I was like, that's it. That's it. Like my the whole angry trope for women, especially for Black women, my behavior isn't any different than Chad's or Steven's or whatever like that. It's just that you're hearing it from my mouth, and all of a sudden it's abrasive or it's so no. I'm not going to. There are times I'm not going to be ignorant or and I'm not going to be I'm going to use explicit language with you, but I'm going to get my point across. So whether this means I'm composing my emails like a mediocre white man and getting rid of pleases and saying hey or whatever, like structuring it so that my point is clear and there's no pleasantries or sandwiching things, or I've stopped doing that. And then also she you brought up something with your daughter. Oh, your hair. That's what it was. Like you, when I was younger, I had permed hair. I went natural sophomore year. No, spring 2007. So freshman year of undergrad. And since then, I've had curly hair. So I think I had a sew in one time, but for the most part, it's just been curls. And I've come to work with 2-strand twists. I've come to work with my hair like this. I've come to work with buns, pigtails, whatever like that. If I have coworkers who can come to work with wet hair, people can't say anything about me coming to work how I have my hair done. And I have coworkers who regularly come to work with wet hair.
So that's perfect, right? I appreciate you bringing that up. So my last question for this kind of coverage of your mental health in what you do is, how do you deal with being compared to your counterparts, right? That's your white male counterparts and your white female counterparts, women counterparts, right? Because you guys deal with it on both sides, right? And this fact that you have the white men are expected to succeed, they're expected to just do it all, right? Well, mediocrely, right? And then you have your white women that are expected to look a certain way, are allowed to come in however they want, i.e. wet hair, right? And it looks okay because it's straight hair. How do you guys deal with constantly being compared to the counterparts in your respective industries?
So not at the firm I'm at now, but the one I was previously at, and not even necessarily the firm, but the account that I was on, there were people who were really lax, especially when it came to attire. So much so that an email had to get sent out saying, hey, so you can't come to work in flip-flops and leggings. And and mind you, I was like, this was my first real big girl job. Like it was my first. And so I was raised, no, you wear like You wear blazers, you wear slacks, stuff like that. And then when I realized the company culture, or at least our office culture, we were leaning more towards business casual. I was like, okay, cool. So in my mind, business casual is still like, it's not leggings and flip-flops. And the running joke was, because there were a few minorities there, minority women there, we were like, man, if we came to work looking like that, they fire us. And that was just something that we knew.
Mhm.
And it was weird because, like, I was Hispanic. We had another, excuse me, I'm Black. We had another Hispanic girl, and then we had another Black girl, and we weren't raised together. Like, we honestly met on the job, but that was just something that we all knew. Man, if we tried that, they fire us or whatever like that. And I'm like, so why is it seen in our communities that, hey, we can't even try this because we know that we can't get away with this? And not in other ones. Like, why are we so much harder on ourselves? And I feel like we are. I feel like a lot of the restrictions that we put on ourselves are self-imposed. So that's why we're when I brought up I'll wear my hair in 2 pigtails or like 2 buns or whatever like that. And I go to work, and the first time I did that, I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna say something. They're gonna say something. No one said anything. Like, in fact, I got complimented on it. And then when I got home and I called my friend, she was like, well, why would you think that they were going to say something? I was like, well, it's not a professional hairstyle. And she's like, what's a professional hairstyle? Define a professional hairstyle? She's like, was your hair done? I said, yeah, it was done. She's like, so it wasn't all over the place? I was like, no. She's like, even if it was, it would be an afro. So what's a professional hairstyle? She's like, we put these self-imposed restrictions on ourselves, or we self-impose these restrictions on ourselves, and we make it harder on ourselves. So I love that Shaquita was like, nah, I locked my hair up and I want to say something. Like, I dare you. I wish you would. Like,
Okay. So I'm gonna toss this question to Shaquita and then Joy. Same question, right? How do you feel about being compared to your counterparts? I know for Joy it's a little different. Well, it may not be different. I don't want to speak for you, so I'll let Shaquita go and then Joy. How do you guys feel being compared to your counterparts?
I embrace being myself. So when I first started teaching, I would dress nice. I wasn't in the khakis and polos all the time because our company's pretty legs, and then you wear jeans on Friday. But I always dressed up. I had my slacks, I had my blazers, and I still do. At first, I did it because I look like one of the high school kids. And so that's why I did it at first. And so I can set myself apart because, I've been stopped in the hall and asked, where's my pass before? So I've always felt the need to dress up because I wanted to, because sometimes I look like them. But as I've been at my particular place of employment for over 10 years, I still dress that way. And I see people get away with leggings and I can't wear leggings, or I see people get away with skirts. Well, not skirts, dresses a little bit too short, but I can't do it because I'm blessed at the back and somebody's gonna say something to me. So I don't even push the envelope because I ain't got time for it. But I like to dress presentable and I like to dress up and I like to feel good about myself. I had one of my coworkers say, girl, where you going in those hooker boots? Baby, these ain't that tall. These not hooker boots. You need to see me on the weekend, So I embrace setting myself apart from them as far as the way I look and the way I dress, because they know that's Miss Lathan come through. Sometimes if I'm in t-shirt and jeans, they so used to me dressing up, they be like, what's wrong with you today? I'm like, dang, I can't wear what you all wear, And then in the summertime, there's not a lot of people there, but I know, like she said, I can't get away with the Nike shorts and long tees like my white counterparts because I'm blessed a little bit more. But I don't wear it because I don't want the kids looking at me. So I embrace the change, but it's not. I pick my battles, and I'm gonna look better than y'all anyway. So because I'm gonna dress better than y'all, so I just embrace it.
Okay, Joy.
Okay, so I have Well, okay. I'm a makeup artist. Hold on, y'all. I have a dog. I'm a makeup artist. So a lot of people expect your makeup artist to come on set, full face, hair curled, lashes on. I ain't doing it. That's not me. If you want me to come do your makeup or whatever, I'm going to come in my shirt, my leggings, my Crocs, and maybe a cardigan and a baseball cap. I want to be comfortable. You're going to get me at all times. I'm not dressing up. That's just not me. So I feel like a lot of my clients know Joy gonna be comfortable. I prefer to be comfortable. I'm my best when I'm comfortable. I'm not coming to do your makeup full face be glam because that's the extra 45 minutes that I could have been asleep. Not happening. So a lot of people in my older, well, when I first started, when makeup artists started becoming popular as brands themselves, they would expect you to come fleeked out. Not happening. I'm here to work. I need to be comfortable. So you're getting me. That's me being authentic to myself. And how I come looking is not gonna affect what you're gonna look like. I have to be comfortable to work. So I'm here, comfortable. Your makeup is gonna be beautiful, all that kind of stuff. So going along with that, I have a skincare company. Because I don't wear makeup, that helps me with my skincare because, dang, you a makeup artist and you don't wear no makeup? No, but I got skincare products for you. When you take your makeup off, you still want to be pretty. So that's how okay, face. So that's how it is for me. I'm not showing up glammed up. I don't care because I'm gonna be uncomfortable. Then I'm gonna have an attitude, and then you're not gonna get Joy. You're gonna get somebody else. So that's how it works for me. And even at my daytime job, I'm still not showing up 3-piece suit. I might put on a nice little top, some leggings, and some fancy Crocs. That's it. Because I have to be comfortable. I'm my best self when I'm comfortable. I do my best work when I'm comfortable. I'm not finna dress up for what? Mm-hmm. Not happening. But more power to the people that do. But as for me in my house, it ain't happening. You're gonna take these Crocs and this cardigan, and we're gonna call it a day.
So Joy, I want to really follow up real quick. And Ashley, I know I told you the next one, but your industry is unique in a sense where you have both Black men and women, white men and women doing makeup. Do you find there to be a challenge in that arena, or do you find it amongst your own culture that's more of a challenge? You're muted. Okay. Yep, can hear you.
Hello? Okay. Yep. I used to, but it like my mindset now is like I'm not really worried. I'm not, because what's for me is for me. That's my client. If that's my client, that's to be my client. White, Black, Indian, it don't matter. That's just my mindset. That might be a terrible thing for a future up and coming person.
Nah, that's boss moves. Like, that's boss moves. That's like, boss moves.
What's for me is for me. If you want to book with me, you want to purchase with me, you're going to book with me, you're going to purchase me. Somebody who might be better or look, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You buying my personality, my brand anyway. So you're already attracted to me. So what everybody else has going on and what they have to say, I don't care about that. That really has nothing to do with me.
And to bounce off of that.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. You the guest.
So I love that you said that, Joy, because it's like it's enough room out here for everybody to eat. Like you have, prior to makeup artists becoming popular, you had all these makeup brands who sold the same thing. Like they all sold foundation, they all sold concealer. They might not have had darker shades. Shout out to Fenty and Juvia's Place and all these ones who now embrace the darker complexions. But they all sold the same things. And can we curse on here?
Do what you do. Yeah. This is not for children. So
they all sold the same shit. So they did. And I mean, if they all stayed afloat, why not? Like everybody got to eat. We could all eat.
Exactly, because it might be 6 makeup artists and 5,000 people, and Joy ain't doing 5,000 people because y'all not finna wear me out. I'll be tired. So I'm gonna send you to somebody else. It's no point in being greedy, because when you're greedy, you cut your own pocket short.
There you go.
So
Well, Joy, before we go to the next, could you shout out your skincare line and where we can find it? We want to make sure people know, so we could drop it in the you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get good skin like you. Look, I don't know if the camera do me justice, but you know, I don't put makeup on, so I guess I got a cheat code. Let us know where we can find you.
So my skincare business is called Smooth Skincare, and it's skincare for people who love healthy skin. We have everything from cleansers and toners to serums, treatments, and moisturizers. And we have Afterpay too. So don't spend your stimulus in one day. Pay with Afterpay, save your coins, get your skincare. But yeah, it's a really good, I might be a little biased, but it's a really amazing company. It's literally something for everybody. It's a lot of it's organic, cruelty-free, because we love the animals. My website is ohsosmooth, SMOUVE.com. And yeah, go check it out. If you want a recommendation, I have a skin quiz, and you can fill in your little fill in your information, and it'll tell you everything that you need to buy to have the best skincare regimen. So yeah, go shop.
Ashley, sounds like we got our first sponsor. So we'll
I
be
know,
sending
right?
you a check, Joy. Joy, expect our invoice, all right?
Yeah, we gonna go. And then also, I would like to say, even without makeup, because y'all, I've seen all of you guys in person except for Shakita. Y'all seen my face. I use Smooth Skincare. So I got the serum, I got the face wash, I have the moisturizing oil, and I was like, oh, I was gonna buy it to support my friend, and then it worked, and I was like, oh man, Joy, this
your skin looks
work.
smooth. Like your skin looks really good.
I think she's gonna. I think she's gonna test all that to the sister locks, but I think she's giving the skincare some light right now.
Exactly. So between these sister locks and Smooth, I be coming through. I did want to. I thank you guys, you ladies. I keep calling y'all guys. I don't think you guys. I think you're ladies. I want to thank you, ladies, for all of your all of that insight towards like your workplace and things of that nature. As each of you know, I think y'all are amazing. I think you're the epitome of Black girl magic. From my own experience, even when I spoke with you all about being on the show, when I was explaining, this is why I want you, all of y'all kind of had that response like, me? And I realized that I do the same thing whenever people are giving me praise. I understand that this too is imposter syndrome. And I know we talked on imposter syndrome in the workplace, but in regards to like your blogging, your apparel lines and your makeup, what how do you deal with imposter syndrome, standing out from the crowd, and if you do have imposter syndrome in those areas, how do you think it manifests, or how does it manifest?
So I know for me,
no, go ahead.
I will compare the hell out of myself to somebody when it first happens. I'm like, when Ashley talked, I was like, what is she talking about? What you want me to be on a con? What? And I was like, what you want? Like, why you want me to do it? I really found myself comparing myself and like downplaying myself, knowing I'm the shit. But I think it's low key, no, high key. I think, y'all, excuse my dog. I really don't get an animal. I really think that it's me. It's two things. Me being afraid, because I will admit I'm afraid of success, which is really weird. But I'm afraid of success, and I also want to keep myself humble. I don't want to be arrogant, and I know I got it inside of me to be that arrogant. Excuse my language, bitch. So it's just like, it's either I'm afraid I'm gonna be really, really good, but I don't want to be too good to where I impress myself. So it's like a happy medium. Like, me, you want me? It's like a humbling experience, but girl, you the shit. Look what you did. Like, okay, calm back down. Like, bring it back. So that's how it is for me. So yeah.
So I'm sorry to interrupt y'all, but I do want to also add, so you said the number one thing that I was thinking when I was writing this, do you think that as a Black woman, the way we're raised, our immediate thought whenever people give us like positive feedback is that I need to be humble. I need to be humble. Why do you think that that's like a major contributor to imposter syndrome among like us in our achievements?
100%. Like, I think that plays into the whole, like, not just, I think we get it double being a Black woman, but definitely being a woman. Like, it plays into the whole, well, you have to be nice and you have to be warm and you have to be like, we're not expected to be cocky. Which is weird because we should, because like Joy said, we the shit. And it's weird. Like, it manifested for me with blogging, because by like taking me years to monetize my blog. I'm what's considered a nano influencer. So I have less than 50. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. But I have like less than 50,000 followers across the board, which is fine. I'm fine with that because my engagement rate is phenomenal, and I'm able to, my community is small, but we tight, we roll together. But it took me a while to monetize that because I was like, oh, brands won't want to work with small bloggers. They definitely won't want to work with small Black bloggers. And it's the exact opposite. Now, granted, we're still working on like making sure we get equal pay, but they definitely want to work with us. And I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. So it took me a second to not do that, or to monetize, because I had imposter syndrome, mind you. But on the flip side, people would say, oh, well, what do you do? And I'd rattle off what I do, like Loretta Devine in Waiting to Excel, like, oh, we just got a little this, just a little Sunday dinner. And I'm like, yeah, I just have this. I just worked with this company. I worked with PG, Procter & Gamble, Kleenex, FX, NBC, saying all this. And they're like, wait a minute. So you do a lot. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, well, but we minimize it. So not only do we have imposter syndrome, but we minimize what we do. And I feel like that affects us. Like, that definitely affects us because we don't want to be seen as arrogant, but we do need to understand that we are the shit, and we have we should be cocky at times.
For me, I just experienced this. February, they celebrate School Counselor Week. So, normally they'll do a special day for us. They'll buy us lunch and everything. But my department, I mean, like every day I walked in and there was a gift on my desk. Like one day they bought me a massage. One day they got me a whole bunch of Bath and Body Works. One day they slid me $20 and said, we can't bring wine to work. So I was like, okay, thank you. So I was like, what did I do to deserve? It's like, all this for little old me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm big on what you said, Jazz, trying to be humble. But at the end of the day, they'll be lost without me at that place. So I don't want to seem too cocky or too arrogant. That's where that imposter syndrome kicks in, because I always downplay what I do and everything. But in actuality, I don't know what they'll do if something happened to me or if I left. So I agree that we really don't give ourselves enough credit.
Mm. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we was done with that question. So, well, that you ladies bring up a great point. So, in the imposter syndrome, in being the Black person, being the woman, and not shrinking yourself down, how do you? So, we're all millennials. And so one day you decided to blog, Jazz. One day you decided, I'm going to do makeup. I'm going to stop doing whatever I'm doing and do makeup. And then you decided you're going to do a skincare line, Joy. One day you decided you were going to do your apparel business. And I think my sister was telling me you had another business as well. So one day you just decided you want to be a counselor and an entrepreneur. What was the turning point, or what was it that made you say, okay, I'm doing this and I'm going to be great at this?
For me, and your sister's probably talking about the MLM I was a part of, because my husband and I were very, very successful in a multi-level marketing company, and we're no longer with that company, but I'm like going back to when it doesn't bring me joy anymore, I let go of it. And I missed that income, but I wasn't happy, and it wasn't what the work that I was putting into it. And basically we started the company to pay for our wedding.
Mhm.
After my wedding was paid for, like, all right, let's move on to something else.
Mhm.
And that's when a lot of people don't know my story, but I came in with my daughter. My husband came in. We're like the Brady Bunch. He came in with a son, and then after we got married, I had 2 miscarriages. And so it was like I'm trying to do it the right way, guy. And so I had my son, and that's how I got my online, my boutique Kingdom Kitties. And so like I left my position as as a school teacher, and I went home for a while, and that's when everything started coming to fruition. Like, I got to do what's best for me, because it was stressful being a teacher at a high school, and you know kids in my class were pregnant and I couldn't get pregnant. And so I had to take time for myself. But then when I finally got pregnant with my son, I had to find something to make up for the income from the MLM that I left, but something that I enjoy. And
Mhm.
so I started that in 2016, and I I moved a little bit too fast, but I will say, even though with the pandemic, 2020 has been my best year, was my best year. So it's just finding something that I love, that gives me joy, and then the money will come.
I like that. Yeah. So my blog actually started off as like an online diary. It's gone through a few iterations. It hasn't even always been my name. Like, I decided last year, I was like, you know what? I'm a rebrand. It's gonna be my name now. This way I could, whatever I decide to do with it in the future, I don't have to worry about changing it over again. But yeah, no, it started off as an online diary and it stayed that way. I would share my opinions on situations, whether they be current event or evergreen, or current events or evergreen content. And then around 2015, 2016, I decided to monetize. Um, and by working with brands, doing sponsorships, all the stuff like that. But I wanted to make sure that I was still true to myself. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was still talking about topics that I was passionate, or that I am passionate about. So, um, I one of the recurring series I have on there is my experience with my IUD. So, like I said, Shakita, I'm not a parent. My path to parenthood is adoption. So I have wanted long-term birth control for a very long time. Like, I was almost to the point. Actually, I did ask my doctor. I was like, "So can y'all take it? Like, I don't need it. You can take it out if you want." He was like, "There's no medical reason for us to take out your uterus, ma'am. They're not gonna take it out." But he was like, "But you can do an IUD." He said, "We can do that." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I started doing research. There was no information online other than like your medical information, but no one had talked about reviews. No one had shared their experience, no, especially no Black women. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this isn't new. Like, these devices are not new. Why is no one talking about this? Um, and so I started the series. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do some research. I have a phenomenal gynecologist. And so I had conversations with him, had conversations with his team, did some research, decided to go that route. And then I wanted to blog about it. And I've been blogging about it since 2015. I do check-ins. I'm like, hey, so this is going great. This is what I think I should change. Da, 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 da. And I've had a few brand partnerships out of that series. And that was another trigger to me, like, hey, that was another like indicator that I know I'm doing something right. Like, when I'm able to use my platform um, to have discussions about women's health and social justice and stuff like that, and have positive feedback or just spark conversations. Like, that's when I knew I was doing something right. And I mean, it's nice to get an extra check from it too. So
So for me, I've been doing makeup since 2008, and I got tired of doing it. So it just made sense I do makeup. What's related to makeup? Looking good. How do you look good? Make sure you take care of yourself. The first thing people are going to see is your face. My face looks pretty. I like skincare. Sell skin care. Like, it just made sense, and it sells pretty good, I might say, and people like it. So when I first dropped, I was like, I don't know how to. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think people gonna mess with me, buy my stuff. Little did I know I sold out. So I was like, okay, I might be onto something. So I'm gonna keep going and keep going. I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna keep going again. And then I started back doing makeup like full time, and so everything just started working. My makeup clients started using my skin. Like, it just all made sense. So I think the turning point was like being tired of the same old, same old. I'm like, I need something new, but I don't want to do something that I have no knowledge of. I want to do something in the same field, in a sense. So that's what it was for me, and it made sense. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ride with it till I can't ride with it no more.
You're muted, Ashley, if you're talking.
Every time. Every time. So that's so thank y'all for y'all patience while I unmuted. So that I really enjoyed that insight on I guess the in between stories from I went to college to do this to now I'm blogging, doing makeup, having skincare. So that's kind of like my journey and what led me to starting this show. In our community, I noticed that there's a lack of conversation about mental health, about dealing with stress, about the physical side effects and the just all that goes along with mental health. Do you think that, so I know Shaquita, you mentioned when you were having your issues, you did one of the reasons when you left your job, it was you were seeing those, I guess, triggers, the children who were having babies and stuff. How did you deal with that, or how did you come to notice, okay, this is something that I'm going to have to do a little work to deal with so that I can make it to whatever my next step is?
Yeah, and I was pretty open. I didn't blog or anything, but I was pretty open about my whole thing when I was going through it because we were in the MLM company and I had a big following, so everyone was excited for Baby Lathan, and it's just all happened so fast. It was like one minute we're excited, we're getting ready, we're about to purchase a crib, and then that was 2000, I think maybe 14. I spent Valentine's Day in the hospital. And then we left February 15th. Just came up on my memories on Facebook. And I was like, everyone, Baby Lathan is okay. Everyone's doing fine and everything. And so I had a strong support system to get through it.
Mm-hmm.
But after that second time that it happened, I wasn't as vocal about it, but close family knew. And I just had a strong support system, basically. I didn't go to counseling for it, but I worked through it on my own. And so I'm an advocate for counseling and mental health. It wasn't until I had my set of twins that I had to seek professional help because I had postpartum. And so it was a constant back and forth. Lord Jesus, I pray, I wanted this, and now I'm dealing with, they're here, and now I'm dealing with this. So I didn't seek professional help until later on, but I will attest to having a strong support system in my parents, my sister, my husband, my friends. That just helped me get through it.
I think, and I appreciate you sharing. I think, and even from a man's perspective, talking about or acknowledging, I've experienced miscarriages with my partner in the past, stillborns in the past, and that's tough. We don't talk about it. And unfortunately, it happens more often than a lot of people are willing to talk about it. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you sharing that part of your story, because it's not the end all of who you are as an individual, as a mother, as a woman, right? It doesn't make you any less of any of those. It's just it just shows how strong women are in bouncing back. It just shows how resilient women are in bouncing back. And like you said, having that right support system is good. And realizing at some point or another, you do need to talk to somebody. All right. I think a lot of times it happens, we sweep it under the rug, and it never comes up again until another triggering moment occurs, right?
Yes.
And you're watching TV, a baby come across the street, across the screen, or you just hear questions. And then from a guy's perspective, I am 30. I'm about to turn 39. No children, all at least not all the way through, right? Um, and parents are asking me, when are you having kids? It's not due to a lack of trying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
think it's something that both parties of the relationship have to deal with a lot of times. But I think with women, it's like I have seen how it impacts you guys more because you are carrying and you are having those feelings and you are having the heartbeat. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said, I commend you for even talking about it, because I know some people that wouldn't even bring it up in conversation.
Yes, and it's amazing. After I went through it, you had so many people that would inbox me or come up to me like, "I dealt with this. Let me know if you have any questions and do this and do that." And like, I never knew, like they never talked about it. No, like people you wouldn't think that, and people that still don't have kids, they told me that they experienced it. And so like for me, the subject was almost taboo. And I'm like, no, this deserves some attention. This needs to be discussed because so many people, more people than you think have dealt with it.
So like my path to mental health is a little bit different. I lost my mom when I was 14. And I am absolutely blessed with the most amazing stepmom in the world. Like I definitely hit the jackpot, and I have people tell me that all the time. Um, my stepmom has been a huge advocate for mental health from the jump. Like she was like, "Hey, y'all, I'm not gonna pressure you." She's like, "I'm not gonna force you to take or to go to therapy, but I think it would be very beneficial if you did. You've just experienced a tremendous loss at such a young age." And it took a few years for me to actually embrace it. And I went through a few therapists. I went through some who were more religious and had a verse for every question that I had. And don't get me wrong, I love the Lord. I am definitely a Christian. That is not the therapy for me. Um, and I've since realized that I need to go. My therapist needs to be a Black woman. So my past 3 therapists have been Black women because there are certain things that can just go unsaid. Like I had a session yesterday and I'm having a session next week. Um, and there were moments where we just made a face. And like we started off, she was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "I'm a Black woman in America in the middle of this panini." And she was like, "Girl," she's like, "We'll unpack that." But yes, I see you, sis. I understand. And I don't have to spend half of my session talking about microaggressions or hair at work or anything like that, because they're just things that Black women know. Like we have shared experiences. There are things that we just know. But yeah, like even my friends, there's been some hesitation with the family, and I find that mental health in the Black community, in the Black American community as a whole, is something that's still unfortunately seen as taboo, and it shouldn't be. Like they're doctors, like our dentists, like our GPs, like our gynos, like our dermatologists. You see them, or in my opinion, you should see them for tune-ups. Like you need to see them like you would see a regular doctor to make sure that you're okay mentally. Um, but you get this whole, "Oh, you need to go to God in prayer, or you're not praying hard enough, or you can talk to Big Mom, or you can talk to your mom." Sometimes you need an unbiased opinion. And I found that that is incredibly helpful. And I went from seeing a therapist for grief to seeing a therapist for maintenance. And of course, as living in this panini and living as a black person in America, and the cyclical cycle, or the cyclicalness of like Black Lives Matter or stuff like that, there are times where I have sessions that are grief, and it's like, I didn't know Breonna Taylor, but I'm grieving for her, or I didn't know these people, but I'm grieving for them. So what started off as me grieving the loss of my mom has turned into so much more. And I have a wonderful relationship with my therapist, as best as we can, as a patient-doctor relationship.
So my background is, both of my parents are preachers. Grew up in the church, Bible thumping. They got a kids ministry. They give out food, clothes. They do outreaches, all of that. That's cool. So I literally had, I'm 34. When I was
34 isn't old. You're not old. 34 is not old.
It's hell. I don't look like it, but it's old. But when I was I was turning 30 or turning 30. No, I was turning 30. And I just started, like, all of a sudden I started getting anxiety attacks. All of a sudden I started letting niggas stress me out. All of a sudden I was just having a nervous breakdown. And I was like, okay, what the hell? Not me, not I got everything under control, not, oh, it's cool, something going on. So moving on down the 30-year-old line, had 2 panic attacks. My third panic attack, I literally lost my mind. I was like, you know what? I can't do this life shit no more. I'm up out of here. But something on the inside of me was like, hold on, fam. Before you check out, you need to reel yourself back in, because you work being here. Like, where you going? You've accomplished a lot, but you have not accomplished nearly half of the shit you supposed to accomplish. So you need to get your mind straight first and foremost. And I remember it like it was this morning. I was stressing out. I was letting somebody stress me out. I was allowing myself to be stressed out. I was like, I'm finna leave. I'm finna get out of here. I went driving. And normally when I drive, I be just listening to music. And to that day, I didn't listen to nothing but outside. I don't know how I ended up at a mental facility, but I ended up there, and I was in there. I said, I am right now. Have a conversation, because I know my mental is off, and I want to be. I'm not ready to go. I don't want to pray it out. I want to talk it out. So that was my first interaction with a quote unquote therapist. Now, remind you, I just said my mom and dad are preachers. So normally they'd be like, oh, take it to the Lord, pray, fast. That's fine. But right now, sis need to talk to somebody who's not going to tell me that Jesus going to fix it all. Because he will. That's cool. But I need to talk to somebody, like you said, unbiased. I need to talk to somebody, a worldly person, somebody who went to school to help folks who sometimes mind go off track, all that kind of stuff. So I'm so glad it happened, because now I'm like, I can notice when I'm about to go to a dark place, or I can notice when I'm not thinking straight. And after all that happened, I started going to therapy, and I worked it out. I figured out what my triggers were. I don't let nobody stress me out. If I feel like you finna stress me out, you got to go. Because I can't afford to let you mess with this, because this all I got. Like, at the end of the day, this all I got. So I can't afford to let nobody stress me out. I'm open to talking to a mental health therapist whenever I feel like I might possibly be going down in the world. Go to let yourself be comfortable enough, open enough, who deals with mental health and who deals with who, and just talk to a therapist, just talk to somebody. And I'm so grateful he understands, dealt with mental health too. He's dealt with depression and all this kind of stuff. I'm so grateful that he understands me, because I can be like, this is one of them days. He'd be like, okay, sit down. We finna meditate. as opposed to me going talking to my mama or my daddy, and they be like, "Well, have you prayed today?" What they got to do with it? I need to talk to somebody because my mind, I'm not talking about my spirit, bro. My mind ain't here. I need to talk to somebody. So if you having any doubts about going to talk to somebody in therapy, don't have them doubts no more, because therapy is like the best thing. Your mental health is all you have at the end of the day. You can be $5 million in the bank. You can be have $50 in the bank. That don't matter. What you got up here? What's going on up here? Are you mentally stable? Are you mentally sound? Like, get this together, and then everything else will be okay. So that's my lesson for the day. My word of the day. Pass the awesome play, people. Thank you.
Pass the plate, Pat. Well, no, I mean, this is a very important conversation to have, right? I think a lot of things were said here. You know, one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people don't go to therapy is prayed away, right? Last season, our last episode was about prayed away, and we had two reverends and a yogi jump on and kind of had the conversation of where they came from, you know, what their experiences were like that led them to seeking therapy in one way or another. And it's important. I mean, you can't talk to your mate about everything. You can't talk to your pastor about everything. You can't talk to, your best friends about everything, because one of the biggest issues that talking to a biased person is that they tend to either demean what you're going through. They interject themselves into what you're going through. They make it seem as though that the full power to use right now is crazy, right? We're not crazy. You're not crazy because you're going to therapy. You're not crazy because you're going through what you're going through. You are human, right? One of the things that I appreciated about Ashley for bringing me on is she wants to humanize mental health, right? Far too often, those with a mental health issue are looked at as if, everyone with a mental health disorder looks like a schizophrenic or looks like someone who's going through something, right? And even those people are still human. They just are dealing with and have to deal with their mental health in a different way. So I commend you all for actually having the conversation about mental health and the reasons why each of you sought out mental health. An objective body is always the best person to talk to, especially when they have the clinical and education behind providing you ways to break down your issues and allow you to identify what they are and resolve them. One of the biggest misconceptions of therapy is you're going to go sit there on the couch, have them tell you about your dreams, and really, so I really want to stay here with the mental health aspect. Tell us, if you don't mind sharing, what were your thoughts going into mental health therapy or into therapy, and what was the actual experience like? Because for me, it was like, look, I'm paying you to fix my problems. It's like, nah, B, that's not how it works. We got to talk this shit through. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, and the hardest part of therapy for anybody that I've talked to is being honest with yourself, right? The hardest part is telling a stranger what you're going through and being extremely vulnerable as to what they say coming back. You know what I mean? What you get back can either be, if you got a good therapist, can either be, oh, okay, I'm not as bad as I thought I was, or it could be like, oh, okay, how do we fix this? So please, if you guys don't mind, share your experience, if that's okay.
Well, being a school counselor, I have some training on counseling, and so I kind of knew what to expect going in, but it just opened my eyes, just being able to sit down and say the things that I wanted to say without being judged. It was very cleansing for me. And so my counselor was not a Black woman. So I didn't keep on going after I overcame the issue, and I'm actually looking for a new counselor now. But it was very cleansing for me to just sit there and let all this out and not be judged, and to help realize, you know what, I'm not crazy, and these thoughts that I have, they are real, and it just takes some time to process it and get through it and work through it.
And to that point, you don't have to stick with the person you start with. I've learned personally, and other people have attested, you will outgrow your therapist. And I think we have to realize that the one therapist doesn't have to be there for the rest of your life, right?
And that's definitely what happened with me.
Yeah, just like with people are in and out of your life in season. So don't think you have to stick with the right person. I transitioned from a male therapist to a woman therapist, just started. I'm looking forward to the experience and the feedback, just because I believe it's going to be two different experiences.
And I also want to chime in and thank you very much for that. Your experience, Shakita, because a lot of the times, one of the things I also want to like push is that therapists need therapists, counselors need therapists. Nobody's exempt. Everybody is going to come to a point in time where they're going to need to have that listening ear. They're going to need to talk to somebody, work through some things. Like, you're not people, our community, we seem to think that, that's a white people's thing, or that's just not something we do. And then if it is something we do, it's like, why do this person should have the tools to get through da 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 da. But at the same time, although you do have the tools to help other people, you still need somebody to help you. For me, it was like, I need somebody to help me work through these thoughts. So even if you have the tools, you need to bounce those thoughts, you need to bounce those issues off of somebody. So thank you for that insight.
Yeah. So like Paige, I changed therapists for different levels of, or different like seasons of my life. I like that you brought that up. When I first started off, she was great, actually phenomenal, Jewish woman. And then I was like, okay, so I've I've done everything that I can do with her. And I moved around, or I found another therapist, and I had the guy who was super religious, and I was like, this ain't gonna work. Then I had a black guy, and then I had some black women, and I knew like it was. I don't think that the current therapist that I have, I don't think that I'm going to have her forever, but she's doing what I need her to do for me in this season in my life. Um, and yeah, I mean, he brought up seasons, and one of the phrases a friend of mine used to say when we were younger, he was like, people are in your life for reasons and seasons. Um, when you find that they're in your life for longer or for forever, they're in your life for a reason. And then when you find that they are in your life for a purpose, um, whether it be temporary, whatever like that, they're in your life for a season. And I thought that was really dope.
So the phrase for the year is "you're on mute." Joy, were you gonna say something?
I was, but I forgot. But go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. So with the theme for International Women's Day, is choose to challenge. How do you make a choice to promote equality in your industry for Black women? How are you promoting equality for women within your industry? More specifically, Black women in your industry.
Professionally, I'm trying to get more Black women into the industry. Honestly, I'm trying to get more millennials into the industry, trying to get more Black millennials into the industry. Ashley and I are a part of a nonprofit organization, and I shout from the rooftops every time I get an audience. I was like, y'all should consider commercial real estate. Have you considered commercial real estate? The pay is awesome. We touch so many industries. You get paid really well to do great work. Like I I tell people all the time, I was like, I get paid to spend other people's money. I get paid to talk to people. I get paid to like, and it's fun. Like, it's so much fun. So first goal is to get more Black millennials, more Black millennial women in it. And then second, to build upon that, I've joined my firm's women's network. I'm actually a part of the leadership team locally, so our regional women's network. And I was, I'm gonna brag on myself a little bit because we the shit. I've also recently been tapped to be a regional lead for our diversity and inclusion council. So I want to make sure that my voice is heard, that my concerns are heard in the firm, and how we can give back to not only our employees but give back to the communities around us. And with that, also amplifying Black voices. And that's what I'm doing, like, day job.
For me, it's this is a good question, but it's a hard question because wait, I'm gonna let Shaquita go and then I'm gonna come back. Go ahead.
For me, I am an advocate for everyone, especially Black girls that look like me. So I'm a school counselor, but I work in career tech. So I get a lot of the kids that aren't your best and brightest and A students and are not going to this place and that place. And I have a conversation with them like, what do you want to do? It's okay if you don't want to go to Ole Miss. It's okay if you don't want to go to Mississippi State. You can go to Northwest down the road, community college, get you a 2-year certificate or trade and make more money than me and be in a lot less debt than I am right now currently with my 3 degrees. So I help the kids be themselves because a lot of them don't know what they're going to do right now. So I start with working with them in the 9th grade. We take all these interest inventories. We figure out what they want to do. We figure out what they don't want to do. And then we go from there. So at my school, we have maybe 11 different programs. And so I help place them in like the nursing program. We have a new sports med program, culinary, automotive, construction, welding. So I love what I do because when you think school counselor, you think I'm helping them get in the job. Well, some of them, go to school. Well, some of them I do college applications with, I do resumes with them, I do financial aid with them, I do any and everything. But my job is different from my academic counterparts because I'm more career focused. So I work with a lot of kids that aren't making 25, 26, 27, 30s on the ACT. I have some that are making 15, 16, 14 and can barely get to this trade school, but are going to go and do great things with their lives. So I push a lot of my kids to just do what you enjoy, do what you want to do. It's okay if you're a Black girl and you want to work on cars. Do you know how easy it's going to be for you to find a job working on working on cars as a Black woman? If I pull into a dealership or if I pull into somewhere to get my oil change and I see somebody that look like me, I'm coming to you first and I feel more comfortable with you. So I push for helping people that look like me, especially, but just helping kids realize what they want to do and how they're going to do it and how to live life after high school, even if you're not going to that 4-year university, even if you're not going to be a doctor, even if you're not going to be a lawyer, that's okay.
Listen, there's a Black woman in the pit crew at NASCAR. So, I mean, she's doing her thing right now, moving tires and changing. Oh, look, she making it work and she looking good at it too. So listen, Black girl magic at its best,
And trades are important. Like, I feel like that's something that's not pushed on kids, or it definitely wasn't pushed on when I was in school. They weren't pushing trades. They were like, no, you need to go get your 4-year, you need to go. Bruh, these trades, I don't know if y'all know, the winter storm in Houston, plumbers are cleaning up. GCs are cleaning up. And that's what happens. Like, even with the construction work, so I do property and project management. These GCs, they make money. The HVAC techs, the mechanical engineers, they make money. So I'm with you, girl. Push them to trades. Like, go get your 2-year certificate or go get your 2-year degree, get your certificate, make sure all that stuff is in line and make your money. You come out in way less debt.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready now. Okay, so I'm a black girl, brown girl supporter. I love anything black. Oh my god, I love it. So I think the best way I can answer this question is I started my company for us, for black girls that look like me. Cause Neutrogena, Nivea, that's cool. But that wasn't made for us. We got color, we got melanin. We need something that was specifically made for us. Not no Shea Moisture because that's really not black owned. But things made by a black FUBU for us, by black girls, by black people. I love black people. So I try to promote other black people. I try to boost if a black person made it, I want it. Like that's just how I feel. Like that's how I promote black. I mean that's I love it. If a black girl, especially if a black girl made it. If a black girl made it, I want it. If a black person made it, I want to support it. I just want to see us at the top. Like it's long overdue. It's long overdue. I'm tired of other people stealing our culture, other people stealing our ideas. We did it. We might not did it first, but I can guarantee you we did it better. I want to see us win. I want to see us at the top. I want to see us be successful, rich, happy, all that. And I try to, people that help me with my company, they're all black. Most of them are women. I got like 2 men, black men. But when I become a big old skincare company, a big old makeup company, I want
Speak it. Law of attraction. Let's go.
My people that I employ to be black.
I'll be a podcast host when you're ready, or photographer or videographer. Holla at your boy. You know what I mean? We got this. We got this.
That's just how I feel. Like I'm black people, black
Listen,
power.
I can see it in how you're trying to explain yourself. There's no words to explain it, and I love it.
There's not enough letters on this keyboard to form words.
So I have a quick question, right? So Jazz, you mentioned earlier diversity inclusion, right? I'm assuming, and let me not assume, you're doing commercial real estate for an organization that's probably predominantly white. Correct?
You are correct. It's actually a Canadian company.
There you go. And although the people say they don't see color, right? It's easy to identify in the room those that are minority and expect them to be the voice for the people. What are your thoughts on the pressure put on a lot of companies to identify a diversity or an inclusion officer to kind of make sure that us as minorities are recognized as, I mean, lack of a better term, consumers, great employees, great executives. How has that role for you been so far in kind of like challenging the status quo of what's going on?
So this is a brand new role. Like being a lead is a brand new role for me. I gave up other leadership roles recently and decided to take this on instead, kind of like take something off my plate, add something back to it, something I'm talking to my therapist about. But no, one of the things that I truly appreciate about my firm is how diverse we are. And that's something that you don't typically see in this industry. Like it's not uncommon for there to be a few specks of pepper in the salt shaker. With local teams, with regional teams, whatever like that. And that's how it was at the previous firm that I was at. Like it was, for the longest time, it was me, one engineer, and one other Black girl. And we were the diversity and we had like 2 Hispanic people, but we were the diversity. And I'm like, how is it with a team of 75 people that you have less than 10 minorities on your team. So much so, and I actually went to HR on this. I had a previous manager. Like I said, I didn't study this, didn't go to school for business, didn't go to school for construction or anything like that. So I didn't know a lot of the terms. I know a lot of the industry lingo. And we were having a discussion with my project management team. And my director, she was like, yeah, WOB and MOB. And I was like, okay, woman owned business, got it. I was like, well, what's MOB? Because like I said, didn't know industry terms or anything like that. She yells out in front of the entire team, "You're the M in MOB." And I'm like, I am? I don't know what it is. Right, right. And she's like, minority. Okay. In front of like a team of 8 people. She said that.
Write her up.
Oh, I did. Oh, I did. I was like, so not only did I like write to HR, but I pulled her aside and I was like, hey, so what you did was foul. Just want to let you know. I'm submitting this to HR, but I wanted to let you know before I did this. So you're not sideswiped or taken off track. What you did was foul. Don't do it again. But I am reporting this to HR. But I've left that firm, left that account, all that stuff like that. And the firm that I'm with now is incredibly diverse. Like our local HR is Black. We have 2 Black guys. We have Black people in levels of like on exec levels, like, so it's, and even other minorities. So we didn't have that whole, we need to get Black faces. Like we need to have people come in and say something. But I have seen that. Like I've seen that in other industries. I've seen that with other companies. And it sucks. Like, why did it take this for you to realize that you need to amplify Black and brown voices? Why did it take people being at home and not being able to do other things? And so they're actually seeing what's going on in the news, and they're actually seeing that Black and brown people are being slain at crazy rates. And nothing's being done about it. Like not only are they being killed, but there's no justice being served about it. For you to realize, oh, we need to amplify these voices, or we need to do this like this. We're not a money grab. Like this shouldn't be a money grab thing. And that's what it's become. Like you don't want to be canceled. So you see these companies saying, oh, well, we have Black voices, or we support Black people, or we'll throw up the Black square. And it sucks because you saw like that wave of support, and then now you're seeing it trickle down. And somebody said, where did I see it? They were like, great, Black History Month is over. We're going to celebrate all year. Like, period. Like this doesn't stop. Like, just so you know, Black lives still matter. And I'm still seeing companies do like knee-jerk reactions, and it shouldn't be that way. So as far as what I'm doing to change that in our company, I don't know if I necessarily need to change it, but I definitely want to stay on there's nothing that I need to change, but I want to make sure that the path that we're going, that we continue down the path that we're going, so that we are continuously promoting Black and brown people just qualified Black and brown people, making sure that they're being amplified and promoted into the roles that they need to be in, and making sure that we're not being silenced by counterparts.
Okay. And my follow-up to that is, and this is for both Shakita and Joy, how are you feeling now that Black and brown are becoming the face of advertisement in fashion, in pretty much everything that we were already doing, but wasn't put in the forefront? I mean, especially now you got Rihanna breaking through glass ceilings, right? We have every industry out there has a person of minority background kind of as their either spokesperson, or the actors all of a sudden have color. What are your thoughts around that? And then of course, the thing that kind of started breaking through, I want to say the last couple years, was body positive advertisements, right? That's a real big one. And, I wish we were able to talk about that a little bit more, but we're starting to see a lot of more body positive commercials where you ain't gotta be, I don't know what the skinny size for women, so I'm not gonna throw a number out there. You're not finding the little zeros, right? It's not a size 0 everywhere you go. You're finding more curvy women, tall women, short women, How are you guys feeling about that? Because that not only lifts a particular weight, right? Because women come in all shapes and sizes and shades. And we're starting to see the shade spectrum of us being beautified, right? Because we used to do the dark skin, light skin conversation. Now everybody in between is being put out there on forefront. I really want to leave with, how are you guys feeling with the path in which things are going, and showing how positive Black women can be, how beautiful Black women can be in their natural forms. You have Sanaa Lathan cutting her hair off during the filming of that movie. You have Regina King, director. We Black Girl Magic is everything now. You guys are pushing the envelope. How are you guys feeling about that in a whole? I know I said a lot, but talk about wherever you guys feel you want to jump in.
So I think it's amazing. I also think it's sad because it's why it took this long. Black girls been here, big Black girls been here, loud Black girls been here, nerdy, geeky, corny, cheesy, eccentric music. Black girls been here. Why did it take this long for you to give us a platform? Why did it take this long for you to accept us? Why did it take this long? It doesn't make any sense, but I'm glad it's finally here. And I'm glad that people are experiencing the Black girl. That's what it's lit. Like, Black girls is where it's at. Like, period. Like, I'm glad they're experiencing the ghetto Black girls, the teaching Black girls, the Black girl experience is long overdue. And I'm just glad it's here. I'm glad I can look at Vogue online and see the city girls. That feels good. Like, I like that. I can cut the TV on and see somebody who looked like me on a Dove commercial with the rolls showing and like the nappy. I love it. It's long overdue. And I'm not gonna say I hope it stays, because I know it's gonna stay. And they just gonna have to eat it. Like, you just gonna have to it's in your face. You're gonna get this Black girl magic, whether you want it or not. I love it.
I love that. I love that.
And for me, I have to put my mommy hat on because I'm glad that my kids get to experience stuff that I didn't get to experience. Like, I'm wearing a Good Trouble sweatshirt for the late great John Lewis, and then I love explaining that to my daughter, and my daughter said, "Well, I want one," and I'm like, Yes, because I didn't have a lot of this growing up. Like, I went to a PWI, but my daughter, I already told my daughter, you got Alcorn, you got Spelman. We went to DC. We took a tour of Howard. Like, so I'm pushing it on her. Enjoy this moment because I didn't get a chance to experience that growing up. Like, my 4-year-old. Look, he plays Fortnite. We went and got him a Black Panther skin for Fortnite, so he's the Black Panther on Fortnite. So when Black Panther came out, we all had on our shirts. We all dressed up. We made it a family night. I'm glad to embrace that and experience that with my kids because I didn't get to experience seeing a Black Disney princess growing up. And now I'm ready for the time when my 2-year-old can sit down and watch Princess and the Frog with me. And then we take a trip to New Orleans and go eat some good New Orleans food. So I'm embracing it. I love the Black girl magic. I'm unapologetically Black at work. Sometimes I talk too much, but I don't care. I wear my Africa wooden earrings, and it's just amazing. Because when I was growing up, I didn't see too many Black doctors or Black lawyers or Black senators and representatives. And I never would have thought I would have saw a Black president. So I love that now that we're embracing us more and it's okay because I've always been black, but now I'm blackity black. And so I've learned to embrace that, and I love it. And I just like that I get to experience that with my kids, because they're getting to experience things I didn't get to experience when I was growing up.
I love that you mentioned that. So like my nieces and nephews have never not known a time where we didn't have black representatives and black presidents and like my physicians now are black, and like they've never not known a time of, oh yeah, well, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this, because we've told, like, we grew up saying I could be president one day, but we never saw it.
Yeah.
And so now, like, I tell my nephew, you know, you can grow up and be president, you can grow up and do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. He's like, yeah, and he has an example for it. And it's little things like, I didn't realize how much I wanted to see a black Disney princess until we had Tiana. I didn't realize how much I needed to see black women in STEM like being represented in Disney until we had Shuri, until we had Okoye, like until we had this representation. We're like, yes, like this is what, it's small, but it's so big at the same time. Representation is important.
And there's now more dolls that you can
Right.
give to your children, right? I think, don't get me wrong, I think the American doll, this is a black American doll.
Yep.
There's
And who's not a slave, because the one who was a slave. That's the one I
right.
had. She was, yes, she was a slave. Like my mom was very adamant when we were younger. She was like, my girls are gonna have black dolls. So even if people gave us baby dolls and Barbie dolls for Christmas or birthdays, whatever like that, she would let them know if it was white, hey, can you give me the receipt? I'm gonna go swap it out. So we always had black dolls coming up. And one of the things we do at work, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but one of the things we do at work, we do a toy drive every year. We do bearing gifts, and our tenants and anybody who wants to, honestly, they can adopt a child. They can adopt a child who's in CPS for Christmas. And we put on the card their age, what they want, like the kids will say what they want or whatever like that. And then we'll put also what race they are. And the first time I sat down there, I kept seeing tickets for black girls who wanted dolls. And I made a conscious effort to tell anyone who came up and grabbed those tickets, get these girls a black doll. Please get them a black doll. And the look of amazing, like the light bulb moment, especially with white tenants who came up, they're like, oh, I didn't think of that, because it's never dawned on them that these kids needed to see representation in their toys. And when Black Panther came out, like they would ask, oh, well, what figurine should I get them? Black Panther. Get them a black baby doll. Make sure that these kids see representation in their toys, because it starts there. Like if you're seeing, there was a study done ages ago, and I hate that I can't remember it now, but they asked kids, they have the same doll, black and white, and they asked kids, which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the good doll? And out of habit, these kids are like, oh, well, the white doll is the good doll. The black doll is the bad doll. Because if you don't see yourself represented in your toy, like if you don't see positive representation in your everyday life, and all you see is like negative representation from the media, you're not going to know. So it starts at home and it starts at a young age. So yeah, no, seeing positive representation in the media and with our representatives is huge, huge. And these kids now they've never not known a time of that.
Absolutely. So I want to just thank y'all, each one of y'all, for coming, sharing some of your magic with us. I know that we kind of touched on it briefly, but this is March is Women's History Month, and International Women's Day is March 8th. So I look forward to seeing y'all's posts with your choose to challenge. I look forward to seeing those posts. Before we wrap this up, I did want to ask, I know that all of y'all have things going on. Can you tell the people watching, where they can find you, what you have coming up, just pretty much whatever's going on, where they can support you? Everybody's muted.
You want to go first? Go ahead, Shaquita.
For me, you can find me on Instagram, Shaquita Lathan, but my business page is Kingdom Kitties, clothing on Instagram, and I also have a Facebook page, Kingdom Kitties Clothing Boutique. And so we have sizes infant to toddler, and I also do a lot of personalization. So that's where you'll find my business page. And my little 4-year-old gamer. This was not my idea, but I'm following Daddy's advice. But he's a gamer, and he's if y'all wouldn't mind just going and liking his page. It's called Tristan's Turn, and it's spelled Triston. Tristan's Turn, and that's his gaming page. He likes to game. My 13-year-old, she's a baller. She plays basketball, but she does have a collection on the Kingdom Kitties website. And my twins are my little models, and then my 15-year-old son, he's also a gamer also.
I was muted. Okay, again every time. So boom. Smooth Skincare. That's my brand on Facebook, and my website is ohsosmooth.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, go buy some skincare, achieve your skin goals, become a smooth partner, and look beautiful. I know that's right, Ashley. Look beautiful. Get healthy skin, all that stuff, and we have the afterpay. I don't know if I told her that, but that's the big thing. We have afterpay, so you can pay in 4 and get your products delivered right to your door.
4 easy payments.
Go shop Smooth. 4 easy payments.
I like that. I like the plug. So my blog is my name, jazzdaigle.com. I'm on all social media platforms and all that jazzy, ANDALLTHATJAZIE 1Z. And you can find all that on my blog. I also have a podcast, and all that jazz podcast. Think about that. So bi-weekly musings on there, just evergreen content as well as current events. And I don't have anything currently coming up other than like my regular schedule programming on the blog and podcast.
Oh, I have a pop-up shop that I'm participating in on Sunday. So y'all just say a quick word for you girls, say a quick prayer. I need it because I'm nervous and it's my first pop-up. So yeah.
You got this. Just bring that same energy. You got it, girl.
And then while we announcing what's coming up, Paige, let us know about Atomics Travels, please. When you get off mute.
Yeah, so I'm actually working on dropping season 2 of Atomic Travels. I have about 38 amazing guests this season, interviewing from 5-6 different countries. We keeping it real, talking about what travel means to you, what keeps you going, and how everybody has been dealing with the pandemic, or what you call it, the panini.
The panini.
The panini. I'm actually working on season 3. Season 3 concepts is going to be couples goals. So, Miss Shakita, I might be reaching out to see how you and hubby travel, how y'all met. But I don't want to get ahead. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to drop season 2 before we go there. But I'm already working 2-3 seasons ahead just to make sure I have some dope content, making sure that melanin magic is always on the screen. We're always giving each other praises and bigs ups, and really just kind of showing that travel can occur in so many different ways, and there's no one way to travel. So keep an eye out. Atomics Travels, Travel Tuesday Happy Hour podcast is going to be on YouTube this April. So keep an eye out for it.
And go look at his site because it's brand new and I love it. And I keep going to it for no apparent reason other than to look at pictures and wish I was traveling or back in Ghana, and to look at his podcast. Everything is on there. So check out his
Yeah, and my dad's birthday is on the 16th, so I dedicated kind of the next couple weeks of I guess my posts on my page to father like son theme. So check us as we get snazzy atomics travels at on IG. We out here doing don't rush channel challenges. We suited and booted, having a photo shoot. You know what I'm saying? 75 to 39. We doing it right. So so yeah, definitely appreciate you all jumping on the show. We definitely need more people like you willing to talk about the topics that you guys talked about, willing to be boisterous about your experiences, as well as just talking about how mental health has helped you, because your voices help others realize that it is possible to go to mental health, to seek your own mental health resources. And we'll definitely be reaching out for future episodes. You guys look comfortable. You guys look like I can come back for another round. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely we want to thank you all. And everybody, peace. Final words, Ashley?
Oh, I thought I was muted. I'm ready. Thank y'all so much for joining. Thank y'all for agreeing to be on this panel. Thank you for your lovely insight. Thank you to everyone that's watching. I don't know why I keep looking at this screen, like the people on YouTube gonna look back at me. Thank all of y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being a part of this ever going